Thank you for attending my PowerPoint presentation explaining every win condition in Clash Royale. First, what is and is not considered a win condition? A win con is a card that lets you reliably get damage on your opponent's towers, and the key word there is reliably. Even though you might sometimes get 2000 damage with a wizard your opponent chose to ignore, that does not, in fact, make him a win condition. With all of that out of the way, this is just my list. You might consider Rocket a win condition, but I didn't. Okay, Giant. Giant is baby's first tank, okay? I mean, he's literally in the starter deck, so I figure he's a great place to start our presentation. He costs 5 elixir, walks to the enemy tower super slow, and punches it. I mean, it's pretty basic. There's not a lot to him. He is one of the most versatile win conditions in the game, though, as he can be played in both the back behind the king tower or at the bridge, depending on your deck. He's used in beatdown, control, and counter push decks. He has a hero version now, and the hero version's activated ability is to punch the highest health troop that is next to the giant, and he sends those motherfuckers to the other lane. This means you can punch away those pesky Inferno Dragons and mini P.E.K.K.A.s that want to brutalize your giant. Now, let's cover the giant's cousins. First up, E-Giant, okay? Electro Giant is giant for people who have never felt the touch of a woman before, okay? He costs 7 elixir and has a zappy ring around him. When a troop is inside that ring and that troop deals damage to the E-Giant, that troop takes damage. So this means that even though he has less health than the normal giant, Swarm is absolutely useless against him. This makes E-Giant, in technical terms, mad annoying to deal with, alright? He's just a pain in the ass to fight most of the time. Unless you have the right cards to counter him like a mini P.E.K.K.A., he just sucks to fight. He can be played much more aggressively than the regular giant though because he has that built-in support. You'll often see E-Giant spammed at the bridge. If you see him drop behind the king tower, you should be a little afraid, okay? Because you're about to be in a world of zapping hurt. Next up we have Goblin Giant. Goblin Giant blows now. Listen guys, they nerfed my boy into the ground. He is a shadow of his former self. I do not recommend playing him under any circumstances, even in Sparky decks. But here's what he does if you must know, okay? He costs 6 elixir and has no health. He makes up for that by being marginally faster than other giants and having 2 little spear gobs on his back in his backpack that can help clear out units attacking the Goblin Giant. So he also has some built-in support, much like the E-Giant. When the Goblin Giant dies, 2 little spear goblins, the ones in his backpack, spawn out and start attacking stuff, okay? Most of the Goblin Giant's damage comes from the spear goblins on his back because his individual stabs on the tower don't actually do that much. Goblin Giant's evolution makes him spawn regular goblins at a consistent interval once he's below half health. This doesn't really change the way he plays at all, but it does increase the damage that he can do. You should play him at the bridge most of the time as a tank for your counter pushes. So your enemy plays a P.E.K.K.A., it gets to your side of the arena, you drop a Sparky to disintegrate that bitch, and then you throw a Goblin Giant in front of your Sparky. Sparky and Gob Giant go together like me and your mom without the messy divorce. Look guys, it's her fault I only get to see you on the weekends, okay? It's not my raging alcoholism. Next up we have Royal Giant. What if Giant had a gun? Okay, I know, crazy, but a genius idea. Listen, he's 6 elixir and is a ranged tank. He shoots at buildings and can do so from pretty far away, so you don't have to worry about King Tower activations like you do with a lot of other cards. Fisherman is a key card in most Royal Giant decks. He can pull things like mini P.E.K.K.A.s off your RG because even though RG is a giant, his health pool is not ridiculous, okay? He actually dies pretty quick if you don't defend him. RG, while demanding an answer from your opponent, can be easily countered for a positive elixir trade, so you really have to be careful when you just throw him out there. You don't want to play him at the bridge first play most of the time because you're giving your opponent a free counter push. RG's Evo is that he stomps when he shoots. Now that sounds really cool because it pushes troops back and does damage. It sounds like it shores up his main weakness, okay? But it sucks most of the time. Listen, a Skarmy will easily chew him up before he ever even gets within range to shoot, and then that means he never stomps, so he never curb stomps the skeletons that are chewing him up, and he just dies. It can get you extra value and keep like a mini P.E.K.K.A. off of your RG, but overall, it's not a huge boon to his play. Next up, we have the subscribe button. Okay, the best win condition in Clash Royale. Subscribe. Log reveal at 10K. I love y'all. Next up, Golem. Golem has the most health in the game, and he is the king of beatdown. Beatdown is what I give your mom every night. Now, your goal with a beatdown deck is to win the game in one massive push. So you want to stack a bunch of units behind your big tanky boy. Most of the time, he goes behind your king tower because he costs 8 elixir, and if you play him at the bridge, how on earth are you going to support him with just 2 elixir? You're not going to be able to, and if you play him at the bridge without support, you're just feeding your opponents 8 elixir for free, and they're going to develop a massive counter push and roll you over. So what you should do instead is play your golem in the back and support him with troops. When he dies, he doesn't actually die. He breaks apart and does some damage around him. He spawns 2 golemites, and this will cause the princess towers to retarget to one of your support troops, which is bad, okay? We want the tank to tank for our support troops, not the other way around. That's why Night Witch and E-Drag are so often played with Golem. It's because the Night Witch's bats will die, and then the tower will retarget to the golemites, or the E-Drag can zap the princess tower to cause her to retarget the golemites. Sneaky Golem in the pocket. If you know, you know. Next up, we have Elixir Golem. Okay, Elixir Golem is Golem, but for pedophiles. He costs 3 elixir, and when he dies, he splits into 2 golemites. And then when those die, they also split into 2 more golemites for a total of 4 little guys. He has a really high health pool for his low cost, okay? He has insane health for 3 elixir, and it sounds really broken. And it is. So to make E-Golem less broken, they gave him a downside. And the downside is that when one of the golem form breaks, so when he splits the first time, when he splits the second time, and when you kill the little 4 plebeian golemites, okay, then your opponent gets some elixir from each of those, right? So if you're not careful, you can literally hand deliver your opponent free elixir. He is almost always played with Battle Healer because she can heal and keep the golem alive longer, thus delaying the free elixir you're handing to your opponent. E-Dragon is also a pretty common support unit here. You play Elixir Golem very aggressively because he's so cheap and has so much health. If you bulldoze your opponent like I did your mom last night, who cares if they get some free elixir, okay? They already lost the game. You'll often win games first push with an E-Golem deck if your opponent doesn't defend properly. Next up, we have Lava Hound. From beat down, we move to beat up, with basically the only air beatdown tank in the entire game. Lava Hound costs 7 elixir and is basically the golem of the sky, okay? She can fly. When she dies, she spawns 6 little lava pups. Aren't they just precious? They do way more damage than the Lava Hound, so you'll often see people ignore Lava Hound and then arrows the pups. The entire idea behind the Lava Hound is that you're exploiting your opponent's lack of air counters. Lava Hound has been an archetype in the game for all eternity, but would generally be considered a niche strat. You're either a Lava Hound player or you're not. Simple as. Lava Hound is almost always played with Balloon, which is our next win condition, okay? Balloon costs 5 elixir. It targets buildings and then drops little bombs on them. When the balloon dies, it also drops a bomb, dealing death damage. Balloon decks like Lava Hound rely on your opponent not having enough air counters or on you outcycling their air counters. This means Balloon is really played in only one of 2 ways: big boy or little guy. Big boy balloon decks rely on a cheese spell like freeze to win the game with 1 big overcommitment in overtime, and little guy balloon decks are quick cycle decks that try to chip the enemy tower down with the balloon's death damage. While we're talking about skeletons with bombs, let's cover the wall breakers. These little annoying freaks cost 2 elixir and run into the nearest building, exploding in the process, killing themselves. They are very fast and can easily catch your opponent off guard, but they are also easily stopped if your opponent is locked in. When split, or honestly most of the time not even split, just played in the same lane, they are quite difficult to counter for an equal or positive elixir trade. They deal a lot of damage, requiring an answer no matter what. When they die, their damage also deals damage to troops, so they splash and can kill your defenses. So if you play minions on top of a set of wall breakers and they explode on your tower, it will also kill the minions. This makes it even harder to get an equal trade against them. Evo wall breakers basically doubles the wall breakers, so they roll in on exploding barrels, but when the barrels either blow up or die, the skeletons on top of the barrels continue running, carrying dynamite. It's like 2 sets of wall breakers in 1 card. Playing against wall breakers makes me want to wall breaker myself. Why stop at 2 annoying little guys when you could have 3? The Goblin Barrel is the OG win con of Clash. For 3 elixir, you toss a barrel that spawns 3 goblins. Knife, not spear. You can throw the barrel anywhere, but 99% of the time it's being put on the princess tower or very close to it. Playing your barrel in various positions to change the way the goblins spawn in is paramount to winning with the Goblin Barrel. It's all a mind game, okay? It can be difficult to get damage on tower with Goblin Barrel because it's countered by every small spell in the game. Most of them prevent all damage your GB would do. That's why GB is often paired with other annoying cards that your opponent might want to take off the board with their spells. You bait them into killing your princess with log so your Goblin Barrel can get damage. Ta-da! Log bait, the deck for chuds. Evo Goblin Barrel spawns 2 Goblin Barrels, 1 normal barrel, and 1 decoy barrel on the mirrored tile in the opposite lane. The decoy goblins are dolls and have 40% less health but deal the same damage. More chud trickery. Okay, maybe a goblin airdrop isn't your speed. Well, in that case, Clash has you covered with the Goblin Ground Invasion. The Goblin Drill costs 4 elixir. It's like the Goblin Barrel, but it's a building that will burrow its way to anywhere on the map. When it emerges, it does damage, then it spawns goblins one after another on a set interval until it breaks, at which point goblins will spawn, okay? It's a really versatile win condition. It can be tanked for or a tank. It can also be used as an emergency building. The Evo drill has the drill change positions when it hits 66% HP and 33% HP, spawning a goblin when it does so. It's a cheap gimmick and you should not rely on it. Miner. Listen, Miner should be nerfed as soon as possible. Frankly, it's ridiculous Supercell hasn't nerfed him already. He costs 3 elixir and can be placed anywhere in the arena, similar to the Goblin Drill. This makes him incredibly versatile and you'll see him played in a ton of different decks. Like all the decks, okay? He can be used to tank for another win condition like Balloon while getting chip damage on the tower. He can also be used to snipe enemy support units. He can be used to tank for your troops. There's not much he can't do. Miner Poison is the most popular Miner deck. It's a cycle deck that focuses on taking 0 damage, chipping your opponent down, and dragging the game all the way out to the end of overtime. Isn't that lovely? Graveyard is a 5-cost elixir spell. It's a spell that spawns skeletons in a circle. It used to be random, but recently it was changed to a set spawn pattern, making it better, okay? Graveyard players have a more limited choice when it comes to cards they can put in their deck. Once the King Tower is activated, you might as well go outside and try to talk to a woman because you just made the game 100 times harder for yourself. Just give up, bro. Anything that can easily activate the King Tower is a no-go. Graveyard is typically going to play control. You want to defend and counter push to avoid a 2-tower game because again, the King Tower will be activated once the first tower goes down, and then it becomes impossible to get any damage with your Graveyard. Graveyard is one of the more unique win conditions in the game. Oh boy, next up we have Skeleton Barrel. What if instead of having the skeleton spawn out of the ground, we stuffed the dead corpses of several children into a barrel suspended in the air by balloons and floated it over to the enemy's tower? Genius, I know. Skelly Barrel costs 3 elixir and might be the most broken win condition in the entire game right now. The barrel goes for buildings, and when it hits one or the balloons on the barrel are popped, it breaks open, spawning some skeletons. When the barrel breaks, it also does death damage. The Skelly spawn is staggered after the barrel breaks, making it harder to deal with both the death damage and the Skellies. The Evo version of the barrel is basically 2 barrels that move together and act as one unit. When the first barrel breaks, it spawns Skellies, and the second one continues to the tower. Battle Ram costs 4 elixir. It spawns, you guessed it, a Battle Ram. It's 2 barbarians carrying a big ram. They run straight for buildings and will do damage when they connect. It moves quick and can easily be spammed at the bridge. When the ram connects or loses all of its health, it spawns 2 barbarians, okay? It's easily countered, but again, a versatile win condition. You can put up a lot of dual lane pressure with this card, as it's a threat on its own. You can play it in the back, so you can put a tank in front of it, or it can be used to kite troops if you play it in the middle on your side of the arena. Evo Battle Ram causes the ram to continuously charge even after it connects until it loses all its HP. Then Evo Barbs spawn, which are like regular barbs, but they have more health, do more damage, and get a temporary rage effect when they spawn. Watching the Evo Battle Ram slam into the tower over and over and over again reminds me of your mom. 3M costs 9 elixir, making it the most expensive card in the game. It spawns 3 musketeers. For the longest time, these were just copies of the regular musketeer, but now 3M spawns what are called elite musketeers. They have bayonets on the end of their muskets, allowing them to melee troops when they get close to them. This melee makes them a lot better at dealing with mini tanks, which was often the best way to counter them, besides spells of course. Playing them in the same lane is incredibly dangerous because they can easily be killed by a spell for a positive trade. Most of the time you're going to split these ladies in the back and try and put up some dual lane pressure. Mortar is exactly what it sounds like, a mortar. It costs 4 elixir and hurls rocks at your opponents. Okay, it's like kindergarten all over again. It will target anything on the ground, so it's easily countered by your opponent playing a ground tank or a swarm. Its range is so long though. If left uncontested, it will target your opponent's tower from your side of the arena. However, it will not target things that are really close to it. This is actually good because it makes it easier for you to get a lock on the tower. Because it's a building, it's also great on defense, making it a versatile win condition. Evo Mortar is basically the same card, but goblins ride on the boulders. I don't know how they do it, but they do it and it's pretty cool. So when the mortar hits something, it spawns a goblin at the site of impact. Again, knife not spear. Expo is the mortar's chud cousin. It costs 6 elixir and spawns a ballista. This ballista shoots extremely quickly and is basically a little machine gun. Each shot only does a little damage, but the Expo has a ton of health and will quickly chip your tower away if it locks on. It plays a lot like Mortar, but because it has a much higher DPS, getting a lock with your Expo is a really big deal. You wind up defending it at all cost. Expo players will play like a pussy-ass little bitch though because they have an insanely strong defensive building. They will get 1 lock in a game and then just defend with all of their elixir, spell cycling you out until the end of the game. Tesla is basically always played with Expo. The most famous of the Clash cards, Hog Rider, is the guy on a hog with a hammer, okay? We've all seen him, we all love him, we all know him. He runs at buildings, he can jump over the river, and he smacks the buildings with his hammer. Quite simple if you ask me. He costs 4 elixir and has decent health for what he is, but he does so much damage. He is really fast and requires precise cards and timing to counter effectively. If you don't counter him perfectly, he will almost always get 1 hit, and that's like, bam, 400 damage on your tower. Right in the soul, okay? Hurts. Put him at the bridge and enjoy your free trophies. I'm just kidding. He can be countered, but it often feels impossible to deny at least 1 hit. While we're talking about hogs, let me pull out mine. The Royal Hogs. The Royal Hogs cost 5 elixir and spawn 4 little hogs. They are like hog riders, but without the guy. They have less HP, and there are 4 of them, like I said. They can hop the river, so you can split them. They're really vulnerable to splash, but if they have a great splash answer to your hogs, you can just play them in the middle and split them, and it's very difficult to answer a threat in both lanes. Evo Hogs fly, and when they take damage, they butt slam out of the air and deal damage around them. This often forces your opponents to answer them before they would get to the tower so they don't do that extra splash damage to the tower. And finally, Ram Rider. I hardly know her. Ram Rider is like Hog Rider, but a little different, okay? She costs 5 elixir, the Ram goes for the tower, but the Rider targets troops first. She throws a bola, and this slows and does damage to the troop being hit. The Ram has to charge, so she doesn't have the instant speed of the Hog Rider, meaning she doesn't work as well in cycle decks typically. However, this means she can be used on defense in clutch situations to slow down a tank like the Royal Giant, and he'll shoot a lot slower, okay? And there you have it. There is every single win condition in Clash Royale explained. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next video, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.